Hey, it's episode 155th episode of Risk On, what may be the greatest show about risk ever. Now, I say that all the time because that's a forward-looking statement, and we know it's not true. It's not the greatest show yet. It is 11/29/2021. We have breaking news, and our crack research team found this out. Now, we wondered where the name Omicron came from, right? And this is important to understand. This is part of the whole conspiracy theory of what we think is going on with COVID-19. And we're going to bring your attention to something that I don't think anybody knows. Nick was able to discover this through advanced research. Nick, you've probably been researching this since you were a little kid, right? Yeah. Okay. Jason, let's go to Jason's screen and make sure we play what we've discovered about the naming of the virus, the variant Omicron.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay, let's let it rip. Here it is.
I am Lur, ruler of the planet Omicron Pussy I ate. May I crash on your couch? Here we go.
Futurama. Omicron. Sorry. Really original. Where do you think, hey, Joe, do you think they got that from Futurama?
I'm sure all these things come from shows like that. I mean, you just got to believe that they're just out there watching.
Hey, JB Bolin, I see him on the screen there. JB Bolin was having a Twitter, like an audio Twitter feed.
Uh-huh.
He was doing it about the merger between Naked and that new, what's the new company, Centro?
Centro.
And I didn't listen to it, but I saw it was on. I hope next time he invites us to be there.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's pouring a cocktail over there? I think the director's over there getting drunk.
Yeah?
Where do you find that?
Or the producer. Not you, Willie. I think Brett.
Not the producer, the director, but he does work in my camp, so he's either going to share or he's going to get a talking to.
He's got a cocktail.
Has he got? He's got a little after Thanksgiving cocktail going there?
I believe so. Yeah.
It says
How was
here,
your Thanksgiving, guys?
Ben, let me answer Ben's question. Ben, I don't want to butcher his last name. He asked the question, does the $350 million shelf go with Nile or Alt Alliance or both? And the answer is DPW Alt Global is becoming BitNile Holdings. The shelf is good for 3 years with the current and registered company, which is will be BitNile. It will not follow Alt Alliance. I hope that answers your question. You saw Bitcoin rally today.
Yeah, it's at 58.4.
I brought in Joe here. Joe, we know that you have all the answers for Bitcoin and where it's going at all times. Where's it going?
To 70 by the end of the year. I still hold to that prediction.
Your prediction is 70,000 for Bitcoin.
I think I said that back in August, too.
Clouds?
Wow.
In the clouds.
Wow.
Hey, look, I told you it was going to rip to 65, Jason. You didn't believe me, and it ripped
Went
to 69.
We were in. You and I were in Dubai when it went to 69,000.
Yep,
Remember that?
we were.
It was what?
We were.
Yeah, it was going crazy.
It was nuts.
And you had massive FOMO.
What do you think's driving that?
What's driving what?
What's
price?
driving it to these levels?
Adoption. I mean, mostly. People are adopting it everywhere. I mean, you hear stories of China shut down Bitcoin and did all that stuff, but ultimately places like India are 25% adopted into cryptocurrency. We now have states,
I heard Thailand was taking it on today.
Yep. We have state governments now okaying and authorizing the use of Bitcoin as currency in their countries. Right? So, I mean, it's only a matter of time. If you'd said this when it was at $10, you said, no way, this is a novelty, right? And then when it was at 100, okay, well, maybe we've got something here. And now literal governments are finding ways to do decentralized central currencies.
El Salvador wants Crypto City built. That's
Rip and
interesting.
Dip is saying he sees 80.
Really?
Rip and dip trader.
Is that 80 for naked or 80 for Bitcoin?
Ouch.
Bitcoin. He says he sees it for Bitcoin.
Rip and
Yeah,
dip.
I mean, Plan B still predicting 100K.
Rip and dip. What's up with what was up with that price action on naked today? You want to talk about that? We should have him on the show.
And we should have had him on the show today.
Yeah, that's an
I
interesting.
woke up to naked being 70 cents.
right.
And then it went backwards. And it looked like, what was the reason why? Because they're raising money?
They have an active ATM.
But they have to deliver 250 million, right, to the... They have to deliver 250 million to the company when they merge.
Yeah,
So they need to raise a little cash.
closed at
That's a pretty massive announcement.
6380. 2,000 Metro Electric commercial vehicles in Japan for end customers, including Amazon Fleet and Hana Cupid.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. And it opened at 70, closed at 63.80 today.
Yeah.
63 cents.
It just got mashed.
And it, volume was 73 million shares.
Santi, yeah, we're gonna talk. We'll probably talk about that. Santi's asking stuff about just talking about ALZN in general. So we can only answer. We can only talk about it so much.
ALZN. Let me think about what I can say there. I'm not on the board of directors. I'm a consultant. I am the largest shareholder
Yep.
by weight, volume, and actual shares owned. Let's just say, the next, I can't say anything. Just stand by, okay?
Are you going to finish that croissant?
What croissant here?
Hey, I'm trying to get Rip and Dip. Trying to get
Are
Rip
you
and
Get
Dip
him on,
to leave,
Willie.
finish
guys.
that croissant?
You said by dent by. Yeah, there you go. Is that curb your enthusiasm for?
Hey, Joe, we got an
Hey.
update on Bitcoin mining by BitNile Inc. December 1st, right?
We do.
Wednesday.
It's coming.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, December 1st, before the market opens.
Before the
Yes.
market opens.
You're going to issue a press release.
We are.
And we already told you what it's going to be. It's going to be an update on mining. Joe, how are you feeling about, let's talk about mining a little bit. How are you feeling about mining? I mean, you've really designed, your team has designed, I mean, we put some videos up about it.
Right.
You really designed some amazing mining pods. Now, are they bays and pods? Is that what that is?
I don't know what you've shown them, but a bay is
No, I filmed the mining operation, put it on.
So a bay is just a bunch of 4 pods. A pod is one whole.
Oh, so one
6
bay is 4
racks.
pods?
Yep.
And then what's a pod?
Pod is 6 racks.
And how many's on a rack?
It's a 6x8 rack, so 48 or 47 on a rack.
Right. And so how many in a pod?
So in a pod, it would be 282.
Are you impressed with what we're doing there?
It's impressive. I'm going to try. I want to get King in there and Rip and Dip, and Skyla's on the chat. Hey, Skyla.
Hi, Skyla.
Where's Skyla?
It's very impressive.
Here. He just said risk on.
Skyla, it's sad. She is dealing with a family member who is not doing well. And so she is, I don't know if the word's bereavement because the person hasn't passed away yet, but unfortunately, Skyla is dealing with a family member that is not doing well. And so we wish her and Roland Godspeed, man. That sucks.
Skyla could tell her joke
What?
in the chat.
Did you hear the Google news? What they announced today?
No.
I think it was today. Maybe it was yesterday. They believe that 86% of all the compromised instances on their cloud platform. They don't know how many instances are actually compromised, but they think that to what degree they can tell 86% of those are mining cryptocurrency. So people are paying for other people to mine crypto. Hacked instances on Google's cloud platform are actively mining.
Wow.
But how do you do that? Don't you need a machine? Don't you need a SH256 machine?
No, I mean, just you buy processor power. I mean, sure, it doesn't work as well, but you corrupt enough of those instances and then get them all mining. I mean, that's a lot of power Google's got in their data centers.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
a
they're-
lot of power, even if it's CPU.
You
I
see what
thought
they're
CPUs couldn't manage.
It's minute, but imagine turning 10,000 CPUs
Right.
on.
Oh, got it. So, okay, got it. Tyler said I'd be late to my own funeral.
Galvanic. When can you guys share more info about the spinoff specifics in terms of asset splits and share structure, etc.? Asking timeline. Well, we did share.
You know, I noticed that DPW now just trades. What do you call it? Like barcodes.
Barcodes.
I announced I purchased more today. We're over. Me and the affiliates are over 10%.
Yep.
I don't know.
I mean, how many?
I guess you could just.
Buy
You
it
know,
all.
this is an example of these sort of disconnection with small cap stocks. Sometimes they don't value them properly.
Yeah, it's.
Sometimes they don't value them properly. Willie, what's happening with you?
Right. Well, right now at this very second, I'm trying to get Rip and Dip and contact him, see if we can get him on the show. And then with me, you know, I've been contacted by a couple of Bitcoin events that want to have you appear and be involved with that. And we've got some killer interviews coming up with you. And Brecky Von Bitcoin is going to be on soon.
Aren't
on
we
your
really
podcast.
close to finalizing the final location of Risk On, the show Risk On, the actual conference?
The conference, we are at this moment. I've been on the call all morning with Evan and with Cliff Phillips, our head of sales and marketing, and we are pushing the venue hard to make the final commitment so we can set that particular place in stone. And
You mean in rock? In rock?
in exactly.
In rock.
That was part of a very long meeting today.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some exciting stuff happening, man. I mean, we've got some other good guests come. I don't want to push the ones that I know. Two that have accepted so far. We're just trying to set the date. Brecky Von Bitcoin and then Charlie Lee are two people that we are scheduling for your podcast, and we're trying to work out the dates for them right now. And one is coming up very soon, and the other is next week, I believe. So just waiting on that. And pushing ahead. We've got lots of merch choices now for the RiskOn conference. That's pushing forward. We've got gift bags. We've got hoodies. We've got tees. We've got jackets. We've got mugs. We've got all kinds of cool stuff. Bluetooth things. We've got plenty going on.
The chief technology officer of Twitter is taking over as CEO of Twitter.
Yeah,
Yes.
Not impressed with that guy.
What's his name?
Parag Agralo.
Parag.
He was quoted as saying some crazy stuff.
He said that white people are racist, right?
He said previously claimed that the platform should focus less on free speech and tweeted that there is no distinction between white people and racists. Yeah, that's our guy right here.
Ouch. But Jack trusts him and thinks he should be CEO. So now he's going to be.
Well,
He will take over the helm on Monday. Mm-hmm. Or no, wait. What day Monday?
let's see.
Jack Dorsey will serve both as okay. Powell to tell Senate Omicron variant poses downside risk to economy, complicates inflation picture. Guys, they don't care about inflation.
care.
Let's cover this real quickly.
Yeah.
Go to my screen, please. So I spent some time with Jason over the weekend. Special thanks to my wife who created, she had split pea soup last night. We had turkey pot pie. For Thanksgiving, we had 2 turkeys, a ham, all kinds of food.
Sweet
You were there.
potato
What'd you think of it?
casserole.
Oh,
Top
hey, Joe,
notch.
you were there. What'd you think of it?
It was awesome. It was great.
Yeah, Christy, wonderful mom.
Great cook.
Christy and Julia, wonderful. Really great. Really great. Let's go to my screen real quickly here. Powell says to tell Senate Omicron variant poses downside risk economy, complicates inflation picture. I listened to some shows over the weekend. I don't know that they care about inflation.
Money printer goes burr. They don't care.
I actually kind of agree with that statement. I mean, I honestly think that, the inflationary picture, they're going to keep inflation on the rise in order to tell you that coronavirus, just like everything else, will hamper your ability. And since I'm not a regular guest, look, I mean, hurricanes are destructive because you haven't been vaccinated. And if nobody's seen that clip,
Unbelievable. He literally said that.
I also heard that someone tried to ask Janet Yellen. I don't know this to be true. Someone asked Janet Yellen whether she was a socialist or a capitalist,
Oh my god.
and she wouldn't answer the question.
Yeah, they're all Marxists.
Well, the other
in my
girl,
opinion.
the other girl got grilled. I can't remember who
Oh,
she was.
she's-
What's her name? Did you write this paper just a year ago
Yeah.
about communism and Marxism?
They
and
scrubbed her on the group.
Who was that?
Yeah,
One, his nominee for what is she actually being?
it was economic development, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, maybe it wasn't Janet Yellen. Maybe it was the one who's going to be the vice chairman. I don't know, but it was. I was listening over the weekend, thinking to myself, they're going to really just continue to print
Yeah.
our way out of this mess, right?
Good luck.
And they can't really do much about it, can they?
No, they have no other option. What are they going to do?
They got to print money.
Oh, you're going to taper and raise rates? Good luck with that.
So-
Hey, it's a good case for Bitcoin though, and gold and silver,
It is.
in my opinion.
You are paying what for gasoline now here?
four
If you're buying the
change?
cheap.
for the 87 pump.
And what are you paying for but gasoline? Hey Willie, what are you paying for gasoline up in the Canadian region of the world?
Today we're at 154 per liter.
So that's $6.
$6 Canadian, right?
That's for the 87. That's not the premium.
That's for the 87, and that's Canadian.
Yeah.
So like 25 cents a gallon.
So that's $1.54 times 4 roughly. It's about $6.
Yeah, it's 4.3 liters to the gallon.
Yeah.
So 154.3.
It's over 6.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about 6.20 a gallon.
Woo. That's for the 87.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Canadian, which would be
Four
You know,
something.
Five and yeah. Right
five
around.
and change.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's
Five
some
low.
real money.
Well, what the most? They just did a show. They just had it on the news. The most expensive gas station in California. That one that's always really proud.
Is
that
it
they've
Beverly
got-
Hills?
No, it's like in the middle of nowhere, kind of little town right outside of Silicon Valley. But it was over $7.
So let me answer a question I keep getting pounded on. DPW. I can't comment. The market gets displaced all the time. I'm a value investor. You know, I have bought through my hedge fund and affiliate companies. I think something like 2.6 million shares, 2.7 million shares
Yeah.
in the open market, and stock went down. You don't know what it's going to do until it does what it does, and so the market. You know, I see people who love me when it was 220 and hate me when it's $1.80. I'm very consistent that this is a long-term play for me. We did have that problem a couple years ago when we had to do those 2 reverses. We were very tied to Bitcoin. The whole thing got all sideways. It was terrible, and I lost a lot of money, and so did a lot of other people. All those things are behind us. We don't have debt. We're in really good shape. I can't comment on what the market's going to do tomorrow or the next day. All I can tell you is we've told people we're going to have 20,600 Bitcoin miners plus our old S9s, which we're going to phase out. We're going to mine approximately, depending on where crypto is, between 275 and 300, I think 10 million in crypto. We're going to mine for years because we bought advanced miners, the 140 terahash. Those are also being delivered. We have a direct relationship with Bitmain. We're going to spin out the non-Bitcoin data center and DeFi initiatives into a separate company, Ault Alliance, which we're going to focus on private equity EBITDA generation. I've never been more bullish in my life. I'm more bullish now than I ever have in my entire life. And for those people who are upset that the price is where it is, there's nothing I can do about it till it changes. And I'm with you. I'm sympathetic, but I'm focused on the future, and it's not going to change anything for me. So I can't really answer all those questions because I can't give everyone an individual update every day because we're feeling bad about the price. All I can do is focus on the future. And that's why I have Joe in here, because Joe, you are head of mining for the company.
I am.
You are mining away.
We are mining away.
Crypto Joe.
Yep.
Joe, what's your commentary about the separation of the company that we announced? What do you think of it happening? I mean, you've known me, you've been here pretty much the longest of any single employee.
I just think it focuses it. I think it's great. I think that we're focused on Bitcoin mining and that entire realm,
Data center.
and data center in one company. And I think that when it goes all into Ault Alliance, all that other stuff that's EBITDA based. I mean, that's great for you because it's a strong area. I mean, I knew you long before the down. I knew you on the up too, on the last up, and you know, you're talented, you're good at what you do, and I think that it's the right move to have them separated so your focus isn't split, right?
Right. Appreciate that. Jason, is there anything you want to cover?
I just
the markets,
think,
any stocks you want to cover? Want a commentary on what Joe's saying?
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit more about that. So why we're here every day and why we're always available pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in our business model is we're trying to execute this business plan, and we're trying to ramp it up and execute it as quickly as possible because we have a data center, as you all know, that we paid cash for, roughly $4 million. We own that data center. We're trying to take advantage of that asset. And in order to take advantage of that asset, we need to stuff it full of those beautiful Bitmain S19s. And yeah, that's what we're trying to do as quickly as possible. If you look at a lot of the other industry leaders, if you will, they have a lot of contracts with Bitmain and other ASICs miners providers that are out a lot further than ours. They go out 2 years. They're not getting deliveries for 6 months sometimes. And you know, with all of our initial investments, we're able to get a lot of the inventory a lot quicker than some of the other companies. So I think that's very important because the turnaround in Bitcoin and the economic forecast in the future of the U.S. dollar and inflation and people that just simply don't want to work. We've talked about that a lot.
Sure.
We'll get into that, actually. We want to get into that with Chipotle. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But I just think the environment is ripe to take advantage of this current climate. And I just, you know, if I had one thing to say, just know that we're working hard to try to execute our business plan.
Well, it reminds me a lot of, I watched, and I'm not comparing us to Amazon, but I'm comparing a conversation that I watched with Jeff Bezos where his stock fell to like $8 or $4. And he said the numbers internally were wonderful, but the stock was performing terribly.
Yep.
And he kept saying, well, I'm watching the internal numbers and the market's not reflecting that. The market in the long term is a weighing machine. The short term, it's a voting machine. They're clearly not happy that we have a shelf, but we have to have a shelf. It's part of good business planning. We don't have an ATM currently.
Nope.
So we've terminated. I mean, the stocks actually went down since we terminated the shelf. I mean, terminated the ATM.
Honestly, yeah.
Which makes no sense to
yeah.
me. So my commentary is that, you know, I haven't sold any shares. We're long, we're strong, we're focused on the future, and I appreciate everyone's support. Not a lot I can do there other than the way I just covered that. But I do want to cover something amazing. I'm going to bring you guys to an amazing statistic. If you go to my screen real quick. This is a full risk-on moment for me. Look at this thing. Amazon poised to pass UPS and FedEx to become the largest U.S. delivery service by early 2022, executive says.
Wow.
There's no other way to put that than what you just said.
That's crazy.
Wow. Think about what Amazon's doing. They're becoming the largest delivery service, bigger than FedEx, bigger than UPS, by early 2022. I'm just I'm like beyond blown away that they're that big.
UPS is huge too. That's crazy.
UPS is gigantic.
Yeah.
And Amazon's going to be bigger. Am I seeing what I see here? Do I see it's good to be the king on screen here?
It's good to be the king, and Rip and Dip is we're waiting for him to join as well.
That's got to be Michigan.
Where's he at there? Let's bring him on the screen.
Pure Michigan, King. Got to
What?
be. You're in Michigan, right?
Are you in pure Michigan?
Yeah.
I'm in Aspen.
Oh shit. Bad read.
I'm in Aspen.
I'm leaving for the airport in 10 minutes.
What do you want
Really?
to? Let's talk about naked.
Are you really leaving for the airport in 10 minutes?
It's the airport's 10 minutes away, back to LA.
What's Aspen like?
Not much snow, a lot of money.
You know, when I was a kid, there was a drink called Aspen. It was an actual beverage called aspirin.
I remember
Aspen.
that. I remember
It was
Aspen.
really good, too.
Whatever
I had
happened.
It was like a Mountain Dew.
Yeah, exactly.
Can
Rip
you
and Dip's trying to make the link. By the way, he just said he
Can
just
you
said
go
he's
to
trying
Can you go to my
make the link
screen real quickly, Nick? So here's Aspen soda, manufactured by PepsiCo, introduced in 1978. They discontinued it in 1982. I liked it a lot. You can see the can over there. It was like it tasted like kind of like a carbonated apple. And now it's called Slice Lime. It's like Slice now.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, I liked it. So it's good to be the king. What are we talking to it's the king about today?
A little naked action.
Is he? Are you in naked, the king? Are you in naked?
Way too much. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, how much you got? You don't want to tell us. That's okay. I don't want to ask. But
It's
wait.
not like what you're tweeting out, but it's same number of zeros.
Well, I own like $1 million something worth of naked.
Maybe you'll let one less zero. But
Well, what do you think? What do you think of
It's,
today's announcement? Why do you think it went down?
it went down because it's the easiest tradable, day tradable moneymaker you can find. Everybody's day trading this thing. But it went up because of the Japanese purchase order for the 2000 EVs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know it was coming? Did you know that was coming? That purchase order?
Not specifically, but they got to get this thing to $5 by December 21st, or we have somewhere between a 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 reverse split.
$5.
$5.
Why 5? I haven't been following it.
Because that was what the agreed upon, was one of the terms of the deal of closing with Centra. It had to be at $5.
And they had to deliver $250 million in cash.
I knew that. I didn't know the $5 threshold. That's interesting.
They have to maintain a minimum of 250, and they already gave. Then they loaned them already 30.
Wow.
Are you leaving, Joe?
Okay.
Thanks. Wow. So your thoughts on where this goes? Let's say it has to do reverse. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, if it's a big split, then I'm going to lose 30% of the value, at least in the short term, and then we'll go from. I mean, I bought into a lingerie company and I ended up owning electric vehicles. So
It's pretty wild.
it's now it's not just the short squeeze dream. It's I'll hold some of it long term, not like DPW or Alzheimer's long term.
It'll be interesting to see what happens if they have to do a 1 to 15 or
Well, if they did
Jordan knows what if they do the 1 to 20, it's going to be brutal.
if you do a 1 to 10,
1 to 10, they'll short
Be
it down though.
$6.
Yeah, but they'll crush it back under the threshold. You got to go bigger, in my opinion.
They got to go really big.
Yeah.
Really big.
1 to 20. I think 20. You're right. Up around
Really?
12 plus, and then that brings the float down. Hey, King and Rip and Dip. What would that be? What would it look like for the float? That would be quite a reduction.
that'd be a big reduction.
Jordan.
Yeah.
George's
Jordan.
not-
Jordan made it in.
Oh, okay, good. What's the float now, you guys? 800 million? I have no idea.
820, I think,
Yep.
or 790.
I'm in. Can you guys hear me or what?
Yes. Yes.
800 million a quarter. Can you guys hear me or no?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah, we
Oh, there
got
we
you.
go. All right, it's 800 million according to, Trading View, which is paid service. It's 424 according to FinViz. It's 800 and something. There's so many different numbers. It's just like, can we get a beat on this?
Yeah.
The one good thing, though, is that all of Naked will have 30% of the company. They'll have Centro will have 70, but I don't think they can. I think they're frozen for a year, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll really just be a third. Only 30% will be an active float.
So if we use 800 million and they do a 1 for 20,
180 days.
that'll take it down significantly. 160. Yeah.
They're expecting to do 2.1 billion. They say by 2023.
Take it down to 40 million, wouldn't it? Yeah. I mean, there's huge upside here. Huge.
But you saw how quickly this thing went to 77 cents and then driven right back into the ground.
Oh
in
yeah.
pre-market this morning.
I'm gonna say what it is. It's broke. Well, I'll be nice. It's just a bunch of penny flippers. That's all it is. I mean, you see similar price action in You see similar price action in BBIG right now. They're waiting on a Form 10.
Yeah.
You see similar penny action in a couple other tickles, including DPW. I've watched a lot of penny flippers. People are just.
Well, the good thing is Rivian is Amazon's now giving them beef about the battery life of the Rivian cars.
I did see that.
What was the beef?
Just the
That
overall.
they don't last as long as they should.
Yeah. I was gonna say the life of the battery. I don't know if it was much as the range. It was the life of the battery.
Where did you see this? I didn't see this.
It was on. I saw somebody talking about it on Yahoo Finance. Let me see if I can find the link. PSP.
Well-
Ford canceling their order.
Yeah. I mean, what are their alternatives? Oh, Centro. There's but that's definitely an alternative.
But Centra is the only one other than Tesla that actually manufactures its own chip,
Yep.
I believe.
Interesting.
Whatever.
I'm actually.
Our value goes so much farther beyond just the vehicles, though. Really, it does.
Well, you know, Jordan, walk us through your thoughts about Naked now, because it's been a long time since I got an update from you. I watched some of your shows, but knowing that you saw that order, which looked like it was kind of indirectly an Amazon order, I guess that's for Amazon delivery services in Japan. What are your thoughts on the stock going forward? What do you think the split looks like? What do you think happens here, Jordan? Can he not hear me?
You'll have to excuse me. I'm actually really delayed, but I heard your comment,
Okay.
so I'll give you my answer.
Okay.
And I think what the problem is the price we're at right now. This was a big deal, okay? And if everybody's afraid of this share consolidation as they have changed it to, okay? Let's be real. They have changed it to share consolidation.
I love that name.
In the wording, okay? But they don't understand that that's going to be fantastic. You will not be able to manipulate a stock if it's at 5, 10, whatever it ends up being in the future. You see what I'm saying? And as easily as you could a 67-cent stock or whatever. So we're in that realm right now where we're easily manipulated. We have, cashless warrants and all those things in the offerings. We haven't gotten confirmation that they've been closed yet, but this will not happen post, pending two things. If we get news or a great valuation, that's, I think the company's worth $25 billion, Centro, okay? That's conservative considering what we bring to the table in terms of complete fleet management and logistics. And that's really it. So today was just a normal thing. I know that they grabbed up almost 9 million available shares to short in the past 2 days. So those were filtered into the market. And if you look at the chart on anything other than like a line chart, I mean, it's just doji candle after doji candle for the entire second half of the day. And it's clear manipulation, pinned to the high, pinned to the low, getting out in fragments. I was expecting a pop after hours. I don't know if it's occurring right now or not, but I think the future's bright. And I think that retail just needs to realize that share consolidation, a split, let's call it what it is. It's not a bad thing if it's to merge with a tech giant as opposed to hang on to the skin of your teeth, just trying to make a minimum bid price. This is now a long play. And there was always people who were in it for the long term, but I've had to discuss with my fiance, we've reduced our position because I owe taxes that I've been reinvesting the entire year. I left my job to do this, so we have some bills that we need to pay and some stuff like that. But I'm still long, but I manage my risk properly. I'm not going to get wiped out over any company. I don't care what it is, as passionate as I am about it. And I don't think that's going to happen. But now reducing my risk allows me to hold it comfortably longer because I realize this is going to be a longer term play.
It's an interesting thought process. If he thinks it's worth $25 billion, and just using his numbers, 30% of that would be $7.5 billion. Let's call it 1 billion shares outstanding. That's $7.50 a share. So he thinks it has, 12x upside from here, even on a post-split basis. Mm-hmm. Wow. What do you think, King? What do you think of that analysis?
Well, since Jordan and I are such world-renowned industry analysts and well-respected, I will say I've seen his math. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know if it's accurate, but it makes sense. But the one thing I will say is, since there's a certain audience who very regularly watches this show, the level 2 tape has been now so heavily manipulated that it's like, if you go on Webull, for example, you try and the bid and the ask, they're not the best bid, they're not the best ask. It's like trading blind. You're not getting anything. You have to go to the Thinkorswim or Active Trader Pro desktop platforms to sort of get an idea of what's going on with this thing. It is, they're running out of ways to hide the manipulation.
Synthetic shorts. I mean, I'm looking at Naked Short Report right here. It's just massive.
What does it say?
I mean, it's over 50% every day. I just took it back down. Let me see. Here it is right here. Yeah.
And on FinTel, it's crazy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
those are just the ones we know about.
I mean, Naked Short Report right here, going back from November 1st until today, until yesterday, highly shorted, percent of volume shorted well over 50% every single day. I mean, they're just pounding it into the ground. One day they took their foot off the pedal on the 18th. It was like 43%, but yeah, I mean, they're just pounding any type of pop. They're shorting it. They're just crushing it, and they have no fear. They have no fear because there's a timeline. They can read the playbook. It's telegraphed. They don't have to call an audible. They just bash this thing, any little pop, and they just reshort it intraday. They just reshort it and reshort it, and that's what's happening. It's under pressure constantly. It's like Lamar Jackson last night. He was under pressure, but that guy runs a 4.340, so he escapes it and he creates plays.
He did cover the spread for me.
He did cover the spread.
Yeah.
So you have to do this as a CEO. Let me talk about this. So as a CEO or as someone that is overseeing day-to-day operations in a company like this, sometimes you have to call an audible. You know, obviously this is a huge audible going from lingerie to EVs. But like, for example, if you call an audible like intraday, or you're planning news, or you have a series of events that are coming out because you've been working hard, sometimes you have to consider throwing these broke dick penny traders off their game and blast them with certain criteria news that they're not expecting. And, you know, and shorts, you know, for the most part, you know, shorts, they serve a purpose. You know, I don't really short stocks. I don't short much of anything, just, you know, occasional ETFs and stuff like that. But overall, I just think people that are shorting like biotechs, for example, like you have a biotech company that's trying to cure cancer or cure, you know, diabetes or something, and you're shorting that thing, and it's a small cap, and they're trying to break out, and they're trying to help humanity. You know, I just think shorts in some aspect of life are kind of like human scum. So that's just my opinion, obviously. But sometimes you have to throw them off balance. If you're too predictable, then they can just short you into the ground. So you just, you know, those are like the cat and mouse games and the dynamics in business every day. So that's just some of my thoughts.
Those of you who follow my Twitter account, I just posted something up about Omnicrom and Bill Ackman. An interesting thought process behind what Ackman's thinking, and I'll cover that before we wrap up. Hey, King, before you go and catch that flight, anything you want to cover before you go?
I just want to say two quick things. One, I think that they could keep this thing, they wouldn't be able to keep this thing down if they did what they promised, which was just a constant flow of press.
Yeah.
But we don't get that. But also, because I know you're a native Ohioan, I just wanted to say go blue. And what a weekend.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a game.
Well, first of all, I am a USC fan, although my son went to UCLA.
Not everyone's perfect.
Although my son went to UCLA. I did make money on USC this weekend. Believe it or not, Jason, you're a witness. I got USC plus 21.5.
At the halftime.
Get out of town.
Nope, not kidding. No one's going to
So
believe
you're
me.
serious?
At halftime, you put a
MGM
bet in.
bets at halftime. I put a bet in. They were down by 8.
It was 21-13.
I got 21.5.
Yes.
And they came back and almost won. It was crazy.
It was like a
crazy.
mispricing or something. So yeah.
King,
Right, I gotta run.
King, let's
Always a pleasure.
King, let's catch up about Elijah soon. I look forward to that. I actually texted him over Thanksgiving. We should catch up soon, okay?
All right, great. Talk to you soon.
All right, guys.
All right, buddy.
Jordan,
Bye.
Jordan, don't hang up.
Jordan, you
there?
still here?
He's still there.
A
Nice.
little bit
see
of
him.
delayed
Still here.
reaction with Jordan.
What's going on, bud?
Jordan, so you're holding.
Yeah, I'm there. It's delayed. I'm watching it through the YouTube.
You're holding this stock through the pullback. What else are you hearing about it? Any other feedback you have on Naked that you're hearing from generally what people are thinking before we hang up?
Yeah, it's a lag.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, just that really, I mean, there's a lot of concerns and there's a lot of misconceptions of that reverse splits are always negative, you know? And it's not that way. I mean, look at the combined outstanding shares that we're going to have when we merge with this company. It's going to be like 4 bill or higher. To me, this is something where you just got to calculate your risk to reward. You know, I'm switching avenues with my, you know, business, you know, rip and dip traders. This is not rip and dip hold through every single thing in the world. Now, that being said, I have a comfortable position in Naked. I think the biggest value moving forward with Centro, despite, you know, their vehicles being a value, but it's going to be their AI. It's going to be their chip. It's going to be the fact that, I mean, I could pull it up for you, but Japan now has utilized the Elmo, which is the Metro, as an emergency use vehicle that will supply power to, you know, the critical services. So they can now draw power out of the vehicle to run electricity for the sirens, or to keep lights on in a situation where you need them for like a hospital example. So the applications are huge, and we're not even talking about the iChassis. So that's the values there. These contracts that we just got notice of today, they're just going to keep stacking up, and they're not going anywhere. And we're delivering January 2022. Okay, Rivian's got a contract for 100K by 2025. They don't even know if they're going to be able to deliver, you know, any of them, you know, to be honest. So I just say, listen, you got to calculate your risk and your reward, which I've done, and I'm happy with what I have. I don't need that money right now. What I needed, I took out, which was, you know, not the biggest amount, but I have a substantial amount that I'm comfortable holding for the long term, and it is what it is. And don't get me wrong, man. If I see things that I don't like, you know, we'll reevaluate. But for right now, all I can say is this is a stock that's being heavily manipulated. Until it switches over to Centro, then it's going to be that way. But once we do, the promised land is there, in my opinion, you know?
Hey, Jordan, appreciate it. Guys, we're going to wrap up. Anything you want to talk about before we go?
I was just looking at the Centro website. They got 5 vehicles. It looks like they've sold since 2017. They produced more than 3,300 vehicles, mostly in Europe, Japan, Korea, Singapore, Israel, and the United States. Yeah, I got some, like this Logis Star. I was just checking out their vehicles. Package cars. You know, a lot of good commercial stuff here. It'll be interesting to see what happens here when the merger takes place.
Hey, I wanted to cover with everybody before we go. Starting December 1st, we're going to be on 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're going to call in, no matter where we are, we're going to try to do the show every single day. Willie is going to help get back producing with us. We're going to get a local producer here because, I mean, we're obviously very busy, and we're going to try to figure out how to compartmentalize the show. We're going to have more people like Jordan on, which is really an important component of this. I like having the community on to talk about what we're doing. I want to cover with you a really important question from a big investor I got about DPW. Why did I decide and encourage the board to split the company up? We have been wanting to create a high growth pure play for a long time. We looked at the idea of IPOing the company, but we wanted the shareholders to believe we would do it sooner rather than later. And the path to getting this done, the board evaluated, was a name change, symbol change, spin out the rest of the assets. We really believe that the company is undervalued, and we wanted to do whatever we could to make sure the shareholders got that value delivered in 2022. The choice was made that the data center investment, the DeFi initiatives, and the stuff we're doing with Bitcoin mining should benefit the current shareholders of DPW, and therefore the people who stayed there would also get the dividend of the private equity EBITDA holding company. We believe this was the quickest way to do this, the most efficient, and allowed for the least disruption for BitNile. We believe the sum of the parts is worth more than the whole. And so we decided, after a long analysis of the process, that the quickest way was to rename the company BitNile Holdings, to focus the symbol to represent the company, Nile, and to make sure that there was all these initiatives around Bitcoin, because I truly believe that it is such a disruptive asset, and that's the core of what we do in terms of investing here. We try to buy disruptive technologies. We try to buy them in undervalued state, and I could not say more than ever before that I'm confident in the plan and why we decided to break it up. Jay, you were part of the conversation here.
Oh, yeah.
You were part of the conversation. We talked about an IPO.
Yep.
We came to the conclusion, better to reward the shareholders now than in the future.
Yeah, I really think that it's much better in today's society anyway. Instant gratification is trying to turn into the norm here. But I mean, it's something
But they stuck with us for a long time.
Yeah, they have stuck with us.
And we've been in and out of Bitcoin since 17. We've had problems.
Yeah.
And now that we have our own data center and our own solution with Bitmain,
Right.
I think people just going to have to see those results.
Yeah, that's what we're working hard towards.
Right.
For sure.
Hey,
Hey, Skylar wanted to tell a joke here. She wanted me to tell a joke on behalf of her.
Oh, you're going to tell a joke on behalf of Skylar?
Let's go
Okay.
ahead and get that joke in.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
What do you call a running turkey?
What do you call a running turkey?
Yeah. Fast food.
Are
Willie.
you going to finish that croissant?
Willie, I'm looking forward to the day we can announce where the location's going to be of the conference. We already have Charles Payne as a keynote speaker. It's going to be a series of people that I'm going to interview on site. You're going to learn a lot about what we've done, the risk we've taken, near-death experiences, companies that I've sold for more than $100 million, what deals I've lost on, deals I've made on. If you're an entrepreneur, you're starting a business, you have a business, you want to go public, you want to expand, you want access to capital, you're going to want to go to this conference, you're going to want to find out about it. Willie, have a good day, buddy. We'll see you on December 1st. Are you going to be on the show?
Yes, I am.
Look forward to it.
I am here, and thank you for putting that little note out there, because we are actively looking for some experienced producers to jump in here.
Absolutely.
We want to expand the show. As you know, you and I had that chat over the weekend, Todd, and we're both on the exact same page there.
Got it.
So we're pushing there.
Nick and
All right,
Brett,
brother.
Nick and Brett, thank you so much. Hey, on the 4th, coming up, someone's birthday, your
Yeah,
birthday,
yeah.
and Nick's birthday. We got a lot of birthdays in December, everybody. Happy birthday, Sansa Ray, who's been with me a long time. We'll see you later.
Go Bitcoin.